Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you are well. Welcome to episode 75 of Cross Button VR, our journey into the world of VR. I'm your host, Laurie, and it is an honour to be joined by two of the most hopelessly devoted influencers in the metaverse. It's Alex and Reese, and we are thrilled to be joined by an actual VR influencer. It's Jammyhero. Hello.
Hello. It's a
Hi,
pleasure
Jammy.
to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's very exciting to have you on. Now, I'm sure there might be a couple of people out there that have not heard of you. Jammy, so do you want to just take a moment to introduce yourself? Let the world know who you are.
Of course. I'm a random guy from the West Midlands who likes VR a lot, mainly PSVR2, but I mostly do YouTube stuff, covering all sorts of news, reviews. But I've always loved VR, and it's now a little job of mine to cover it on YouTube, which is amazing. So yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Amazing. And how is everyone today? So, Reese, Alex, you both well as well?
Yes, very well.
Yeah, getting sick and tired of this heat.
Yeah.
Can it go away,
Yeah.
please?
It's cooled down a bit, isn't it?
Fine here, I've got a nice
Cool.
big shirt on.
Yeah, it's very warm there. Alex had a big fleece and jacket. It's like, yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, Alex
In the
usually
north.
comes on wearing like a dressing gown or something. We'll all be wearing shorts.
Yeah, lovely up here.
Good
It's not
stuff.
too bad down here, not too bad.
Really? I found it horrendous.
Yeah, the last week has been pretty bad. Today was okay. We're like down to like 18 degrees, but I went down to London last week and it was 31 and I could not cope.
Nah,
No,
that's
it's
too
not
much.
nice.
Mm-mm.
Yep. Yeah, listen to us, man. Oh, it's too nice weather now. It's not nice, is it? Like, it's muggy as fuck. So
Yeah,
No,
that's
it's
the issue.
typical British, isn't it? We're never happy.
Yeah, complain when it's hot,
It's a
complain when
bit
it's cold.
hot, isn't it?
yeah. Well, the point is though, it's just crap for playing VR, isn't it? You just try
Yeah.
and play.
That's
anything,
the
and
reason
it's
I
just
always
like,
complained
Oh
about it.
god.
Yeah.
Just try and just get up really early and set your alarm for like 5 a.m. and play some before work. That's the only way.
Some
to
Yeah,
cool
stick
stick the
with it.
fan
fans
on.
just pointing
yeah,
at you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the strategy.
And Reese hasn't
Hey,
got to
Janko.
bed by 5 a.m. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
And as we'll get to in a minute, there's been always probably these new people playing VR for the first time with this fantastic deal we'll talk about in a minute. And they go, oh, it's really hot when you play VR, isn't it? It's like, well, no, it's just
Not
because it's
usually.
really hot at the moment. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not usually this sweaty, honest. For most people, anyway.
Game dependent.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Well, yeah. Well, anyway, thank you. Thanks. It was really good to have you on, Jamie. We've got. Well, it's been quite an exciting week, hasn't it, in the world
Yeah,
of
Yeah, it's been hectic.
PSVR 2.
Yeah, a lot.
So we've seen. So last week, obviously, you were talking about the PSVR2 fire sale was now on. Sony, I think it's fair to say, aggressively cut the price of the headset. So they basically knocked off £200, $200.
Yeah, it's a wild amount of money, that. And I mean, I personally think a price reduction would be great, baseline, forever, just to knock it down a little bit. I feel like a lot more people would pick it up, but that sale, we've seen the amount of people buying them coming in from not just looking at like the Reddit and everything, see how many new posts there are, but from retailers as well, saying that it's skyrocketed. It's crazy. It's like a second launch day, pretty much. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It has been very exciting seeing everyone just post up.
Yeah.
Oh, look, you're driving in their car with their PSVR 2
Yeah.
and it just picks up. It's exciting. And
It's the
just
second
having that
coming
same
of
experience.
PSVR 2.
It's
Exactly
the second
that.
coming. It definitely feels like that. And I think to see so much excitement and so much positivity when everyone's been so quick to shit on the PSVR 2 for so long, like just to have this period where people are so excited to get it, like being really, really nice, and the community coming together, like play this, play that, and so
Yeah.
many people wanting to recommend things to each other. Whereas it's been maybe for the last few months, I feel like it's got really not quite bitter, but divided.
Yeah, the
on
atmosphere for sure.
was-
Yeah. You can't bring out one headset without, at least somebody coming in and saying something bad about it, and then putting up another one, which is just like VR's a small like niche in gaming as it is. It's getting a lot bigger, obviously, but I just don't, you don't see the need for a console war in our space.
No, definitely not.
No, absolutely. Especially because like no one needs to go out and be a console warrior for Mark Zuckerberg's Meta. Like, he's fine. You don't
Yeah,
need
he's
to.
doing
Yeah.
Why you got to choose meta, man? Why you got to pick against meta straight away?
Yeah, well, it just because every time you post anything on
It's
PSVR2,
because
you always get someone
he's,
saying Quest is better. Play Quest. It's like, well, yeah, great. I don't care if it's better or not. I own a PSVR2 now. I'm stuck with it, so just leave me alone.
You're not stuck with it. You're enjoying it, Laurie.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I'm not going to. Yeah, as you guys have been trying and unsuccessfully, I'm not in the mood to go out and buy a second VR headset just yet. So,
I think that's fair
I'm
as well.
more than happy with my current one.
There's a
Any
lot
platform
to play.
should be enough.
Yeah. I mean, my time is just kind of like what I play now is just doubled, tripled with going to each platform and trying every game, which has just been ridiculous. So
Because you play the same game 2 or 3 times now, don't you? You play it on PC, you play it on Quest, play it on PSVR2.
I have done, I have done.
I know you have.
Yeah.
I'm not
There's
joking.
there's a good few. Sushi Pen being one of them.
Yeah.
Just waiting for that
Fantastic
Steam
game.
release. I'll go for that again when it comes out on Steam as well, just to hit it a third time.
But no, you're right. It's the positivity has been really good, and you've been absolutely right, Jamie. That it's there's been like people. I think it's a bit similar like with Xbox and PlayStation, where if there's one that's kind of a bit of the underdog, people get all defensive and like really like pissy about it online, and you're just guys, just chill out. Like Sony doesn't care if what you say about it, or Meta doesn't really care. Just enjoy what you
Enjoy
got.
it, exactly.
There's so much to play everywhere, so it doesn't matter how well the fucking headset sells.
Yeah.
Makes no difference to anyone. But yeah, it's been great to just finally see everyone's just a bit more positive and happy about it and excited about it. And I really wonder what impact it's going to have on. Well, everything really, the whole strategy. It's been really interesting, like what possessed them to go with such an aggressive discount.
Yeah, even like they could have waited until Black Friday or Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
but it coincides with the PC adapter, obviously. But the amount of people that I've seen buying the headset who aren't looking for the PC adapter to move on with and just want it for PS5 is much larger than the amount of people I've seen pick it up to go on buying it for PC. So I guess they could have waited till Christmas. They could have waited till like Black Friday for a deal, but it's now, which is odd. But I'm just happy to see them do anything with it, to be honest, considering like they're usually pretty quiet about everything console related, really, in terms of plans. So anything we can get, I'll take.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that's fair. We've been saying it does seem like more PS5 players are actually picking up the PSVR2, which I have noticed as well.
Absolutely.
Which isn't a bad thing because yes, with the PC adapter coming, that's great as well. But obviously, you're already getting a great headset straight from the get-go if you just whack it onto the PS5. And I do think a lot of people that have been picking it up were just a bit hesitant because of the price. And everyone says it's always been a bit too expensive. And I also do agree there should be a price drop. Not by £200. I mean, it's a great headset, but I think at £200 is probably a bit of a loss for them, especially with how much lenses cost. But no, I'm glad it's finally happened to see all these people picking it up.
And I think people realise that knocking down to 350, like, I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but did PSVR 1 ever really, certainly not within a year of being out?
I don't think it was
not within a year, no.
I think eventually,
mega
but yeah.
pack, but I mean, yeah, and there's a lot of people now must be realising that is significant discount. Like that is now the sweet spot of price. I would say that's the price it should be because that just seems too good to be true.
I think
almost,
400 or 450 should be the price for it. I
Well,
think they should drop it down to that.
So the price, it was only a time limited thing, and I think in the UK it's gone up back to full
Ending
price now
tomorrow.
in most places.
Yeah. On PS Direct, yeah.
Yeah, so by the time this episode is launched, it's back now up to full price. I think everywhere probably. So, what are they just going to leave it back at full price and just not sell anything ever again? Because people will now be like, well,
I'll wait till next sale.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it was on sale at Days of Play. That was a couple of months ago, and it was a bit of a sale, but it also had Netflix thrown in as well, so it kind of does a good value proposition there. Now it's just massively been slashed. Who's going to buy it at 530 quid? Like, you'd be mad to, surely. Like, you just know at some point, even if it's like now waiting until Black Friday, it's going to be on discount again, unless they just announce a permanent price drop and say, right, it's now going down to 400, 450, 430.
That would be the smart move for sure.
I envisage that happening when the PS5 Pro comes out. So when the Pro comes, I can see like a complete realignment of the PS5 family, including all the different products. And I think that's when they might come along and do like some sort of permanent price drop on it, when they kind of put that price drop in the Pro price point on the Pro, what they do then with the PS5 standard and then everything that kind of sits alongside it. So that, for me, that makes the most sense to when you come now and do a price cut. Why they've done this now? You're getting closer to Meta Connect. Are they worried about the 3S coming out and they
Mhm.
want to get in ahead of that and the more budget headset. Probably not, but it feels like it's been for
Yeah.
PCVR. It definitely feels like the
But
driver.
why not do
for
it at the same time that adapter's out? I don't
Don't know.
if that
Maybe
was
the
the case.
adapter's
I don't
not.
know.
That'd be
Maybe
too
the adapter
sensible
is-
for
Can't even
Sony.
order the adapter. I just want the
Yeah.
adapter.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
whole other topic right now, isn't it? You can't even order the bloody thing here in the UK, can you? But
So there was a story this week saying this is on Upload VR, or actually a shortcut reporting that so one retailer said there was a 2,350% increase in headset sales on the first day of the sale compared to the day before, which is like,
that's crazy.
That's a big increase.
How do
I mean,
you
it
even
could-
get to those numbers?
Yeah, well, I mean, they might have sold like one the day before.
Yeah.
I'm saying sort of 2,500. So, but it just shows you that kind of the price point was and it's kind of good in a way because it's not that there's just a complete lack of enthusiasm for VR. People shouldn't give a shit about VR. People should move on. It's a waste of time. It's just that it's just such an expensive price point to buy into. And actually, at 350, we've seen now there is a lot of enthusiasm. There's loads of people on Twitter, and to what you both said, Reese and Jamie, there's lots of people, just regular PS5, quite prominent PS5 people on Twitter and socials and stuff, and YouTube, just I've picked this up for the first time now, and they've been all week, they've been going, this is amazing, there's so many cool stuff. Or I saw someone posted today, I just did telekinesis for the first time in Synapse, this is incredible. And we're like, yes, we've been saying this for the last year. Great that people are now getting on board and to see that enthusiasm being shared. And so yeah, because you maybe Sony might have been thinking, this is a waste of time, this VR thing. No one gives a crap about VR. Let's just pull the plug on it. But hopefully this is showing them actually there is a really lot of enthusiasm and excitement for it. People are crying out for this new cool experiences, but they're just not prepared to pay £500, the price of the console again, to access them.
It's a steep one, isn't it, really?
Like how contagious that enthusiasm is. I mean,
Yeah.
like from where we were at the point where we recorded the episode last week and they had just, like, some of the retailers had just started reducing it, Sony hadn't said anything, to where we are this week. It's like huge. It's skyrocketed. Like everyone's talking about PSVR2. Well, in the space that we're looking at, not everybody's talking about PSVR2. I mean, I even nearly got my boss to buy one. He was this close. Nearly bought it. Nearly got him over the line. But
Clearly not a salesman, are you, Alex?
I managed to get him to buy a Portal. The PSVR2 is still a wee bit too hard.
No, he should have went for the PSVR too. I mean,
Yeah.
He
I'd
should
agree.
have. I told him that.
Honestly,
But yeah, I
it's
mean,
such a big increase.
Yeah, and hopefully now there's a lot of developers who put games out and have seen the kind of sales peter out that are now going to get a big second wave of sales and excitement, enthusiasm, and obviously we're doing our bit to try and showcase some games that people might not have seen before. But then also for games that are for games in development, then I'm thinking, oh great, there's a whole new, much bigger audience now. I'd love to know what the numbers were sort of before and after this
Yeah, there's a
week-long
couple of
period of
devs, aren't
discounts.
there, that they've been open about their sales numbers before. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, and it's escaping me. But there are definitely a couple who have said we've sold this like exactly this many units, and it's a good indication, I guess. We can watch every month we get the actual standings from Sony of the most sold PSVR2 games in each region, and if any of those, I don't know, lower down indie ones that we haven't seen in a while are really high up, that's probably a good indicator. But I think we could see a lot of the ones that get recommended a lot, even like the first experiences ones or ones that you show off to friends and family, like Kayak VR. It's always on there on that monthly list, but I could see stuff like that being a bit higher up now that people are getting their headsets for the first time. And those type of experiences are the ones that people gravitate towards because it's the wonderful graphics. It's the easy, put your family member on it and show them VR.
Yeah,
we need to get Masternoid on that list. How can we get Masternoid onto that list?
Yeah, Jammy,
It
have
should
you
be-
played Masternoid?
I haven't. I think no,
Alex,
yeah. That's,
tell Jammy about Masternoid for a
Oh,
second.
Move
Right,
on
that's
quickly,
30 minutes
otherwise
later,
we're gonna
guys.
That's
Move
the
on, we're
best
going to have
game-
a very awkward moment here.
It's the best
Alex.
game in the world. I
I'll
love
have
it.
to give it a try.
You do?
After this, I'll get in touch with the Mastonoid dev. I'll be like, I want to do a video. Let's make it happen. Because
Do you know
a
what
way
cover it.
They'll
Yeah.
absolutely jump at the chance because they're lovely guys, aren't they? Lovely
Yeah,
guys.
they are lovely people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll get on
I
that.
think
They're all in our Discord. They're very nice.
I think next week or at some point soon we'll do an updated list of like the best games for VR newcomers, and Masterminds would definitely be on the list because it's games that the temptation is there where you're sort of rip open the box and you get the headset on and you just jump straight into Gran Turismo 7 or playing like Resident Evil. And if you've never played VR before, that's going to hit you like a big, well, something that's going to make you sick. whatever.
I still remember getting my mate to play Resident Evil 7, and he was like, he was determined that was the first game he wanted to play when he tried VR, and I was like, you're not going to feel good after this. He's like, no, it'd be great, it'd be great. And literally he played it for like 20 minutes. He's like, yeah, I don't feel too good. Can we order a takeaway? I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, yeah. But Mastermind is definitely a good one to start with. But I suppose as a group, let's collectively try and brainstorm. Like if you are brand new to VR, what are our tips? What are the things that people should be doing? And I guess what you've just said there is what you just touched on is like if you start to feel sick, go and eat a takeaway.
Stop.
Or just stop playing.
Don't order a takeaway. Your bill will jump high. Just stop. If you're feeling sick within the 10 minutes, don't push for it. Just stop. I mean, when I first started, I stupidly was like, no, I'm going to carry on. I've just bought this thing for X. And this is back when I played the PSVR 1.
Yeah.
If I just spent this amount of money, I'm going to crack on. And I carried on, didn't feel too great. And then I had a second time when I actually had a few drinks, alcoholic beverages before actually playing. And because I thought, why not? That was the worst decision I ever made being a new VR player, because I think it's 5 minutes in and literally I still remember it to this day. It was going down the stairs into the basement of Resident Evil 7. I was like, oh, I don't feel too good. I literally took the headset off and I am not going to continue the rest of that story because I think you can only assume as what's happened. And it was not a good experience, but I felt instantly better.
Oh, you do? Because if I start to get motion sick, it's all right if I don't stop right away, but if I just...
I mean, I feel instantly better after...
after being sick,
after being sick, Don't drink alcohol and do VR. I know, like, some people can do it. I know I can do it now perfectly fine, and I know other people that I've played with online, and they'll be drinking while playing the game, and, 5 matches later, they sound a little bit tipsy, but... Yeah, for new-time VR players, do not do it.
Yeah, but also just like, if you think you start to get queasy, you think, "Oh, just push on. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll get over
just
it.
Stop.
I'm sure I'll get used to it." You won't. Just stop playing. You will after like a few sessions and stuff. That will stop happening. So if you are, I think a lot of people must start playing it. I think, oh no, I'm one of these people that can't play VR. I'm never going to be able to do it. I'll send it back. I'll sell it on eBay or something. Just don't worry. You can and you do build up to tolerance. So everyone can get the hang of it, apart from Ben. But everyone can get the hang of it, and you just need to take it slow and just start with games that are not going to...
He still hasn't got the hang of it, has he?
No.
Not GT7, but...
No, he's fine now, bless him.
But to be fair, one of Ben's biggest issues was he had to go and get his eyes tested and actually get lenses. And as soon as he got lenses, it completely changed the experience for him. And I wouldn't underestimate the impact that prescription lenses on a headset can make.
Because otherwise you'll get a headache and things like that. It's going to lead to all different things.
It can completely change the experience. Like when I put my lenses on, I was shocked as to how much clearer it became, even though my eyesight is not that difficult. I think it's really because you've got screens so close to your eyes and these headsets, I think it really can exacerbate like any sort of vision issues that
you get
have.
eye strain very quickly with VR, especially or a glasses user.
Yeah, that was another new thing. That first week of owning it, you definitely would get tired eyes, and you just be like, "Oh, I just want to rub your eyes and just close them." And again, that goes away pretty quickly. I found I don't get that at all anymore. I can play it, and even though you are staring at a screen that is right in front of you, your brain and your eyes kind of relax a lot more, and they stop trying to fight the fact there's something in front of them, and they'll just focus on in the distance.
Yeah,
so
it feels like
more natural on the eyes.
Yeah, even though there is none. And I get that now. You can. All good for like however long play sessions, but I think I do have to get used to it if I'm like away for like a couple of weeks and then come back to VR. I do have maybe a day of like I take it off and I'm like, okay, this is what real life looks like. My eyes are stinging a bit, but after that, straight back into it. So I guess for newcomers, it's like it's sometimes difficult to know where that limit is, but once you get to it,
definitely.
You're trying to push it a little bit, but you just need to stop. that's all you can really do. However, like enthusiastic you are about it, we've all been there. But it's just leave it.
And it is frustrating, isn't it? Because you're so excited to play, and you're like, I can't. You just don't. You've got plenty of time.
I never looked into like motion sickness things and stuff like that before playing VR for the first time. And I just jumped into the first game that I know I wanted to play, which was RE7, and I think I got to the house, and that's when I was like, I need to come off this. I don't feel too good.
Yeah. Anything else? What I was thinking of thing is when you're setting your boundaries. So in my room, there's a coffee table and stuff, and I draw the boundary, and I know it's there, so I'll draw the boundary to give myself plenty of room, because even though the coffee table's on my legs, I know I want to be able to wave my arms around in that space, and that's not going to be impacted by the coffee table. So if the box kind of went round the coffee table, you're just going to give yourself a really small space. So it's better to sometimes push past objects, and like the sofa as well. It's like, I'm not going to hurt myself if I bang into my sofa because it's all made of cushions, but I want my arms to be able to go into that space. But don't have your arms anywhere where there's anything you're going to break. So anything the mirror, TV, windows,
TV's the main one.
Clothes,
not near that.
clothes, or it's very easy, especially if you're new and you're getting turned around a lot. You don't want to be putting your hand out and throwing a punch or something, or swinging a racket.
Light fittings as well.
Yeah, load of lights can be a killer. Yeah.
I got my brother to try VR for the first time when he wanted to play Saints and Sinners, and he swung an axe, and he smashed my light bulb. And literally, you should see his face. I wish I had it on video. It's perfect, and he just looked absolutely shocked. He's like, "What have I done?" I was like, "You've don't move because there's glass on the floor now." I was like, "Take my headset off. You're not playing that ever again. That was expensive."
Yeah.
So move anything out of the way. Watch your Guardian. You know, I'm going to be honest, when you get used to the Guardian in your own room and the way you play, you can kind of disregard it in some way if you want to kind of get rid of that border that pops up, because when you have been playing for a long time like I have, I mean, I've pushed it so the Guardian doesn't even show up anymore. Having a place, like a place to know where you actually are situated is a really good thing as well. And I've said it so many times before, that sofa behind me acts as basically so I know where I am in my room. As long as my legs are touch that sofa, I know I'm in a place that's not going to hit anything. And a lot of people will play in the centre of their room because they're turning around in game. They might turn around in real life, and then they might move 1 foot forward, and before you know it, you've moved 2 steps forward, and you're now next to the wall. The next move you're going to make is going to be smashing your hand against the wall. So it's kind of like one of them things. Just have a situated place.
Alex, didn't you hurt your knuckle, Alex? You've punched the wall, didn't you, before?
I punched the wall a few times. Yeah, absolutely.
I've been there as well. I've got to admit,
yeah. I did it on pistol whip, smashed my hand against the window frame,
and it's obviously it goes back. It sounds a stupid thing to say, but it's the most immersion breaking thing. Like, obviously it is, but
the pain.
It's really like, my god, what's going on? Because you're not where you thought you were, and that's so like you pull off your headset. Fuck, how have I got over here?
Yeah, you're right. It is very immersive when you smash your hand against something.
Yeah. No, it's massive the immersion. This
is really realistic. Wow.
Yeah,
I suppose it's like
haptics
if
amazing.
If you're playing something like Brazen Blaze and you need to go and punch through the wall, then there's maybe a good one. But I mean, what people tend to recommend for that is like a small circular rug, so that you know when you're on that rug, and when you step off it, you know you've gone too far, and just something that your feet will kind of.
That's what I've got. It's just like a rug, so I know if my foot's on that, we're good. And it's like. Yeah, when you get used to your space, like you said, it's all good. Like, even if the Guardian's there, you can push it back. I've done the same with mine, where it's like it's on the edges, so it'll show up if I'm about to like destroy my PC or my TV or something. But apart from that, it's fine. But when I moved into my flat for university for the first time, I did not know like where objects were, and I was on Blade and Sorcery, and it went straight into that wall, and that's the first time in a while.
Dangerous for your environment.
It is. You just forget.
When I play PSVR, I play it so close to like this desk and everything over here, and I'm on proper swinging and stuff, and the amount of times I've hit the fan out of the way and things like that, because I'm not standing in my normal area when playing PSVR, so yeah, it can go really bad.
He's always got some excuse or something that he's got beside him that he's hitting, and it's like, oh, that's because this was there, or that's because that was there.
It's not an excuse, I mean...
Yeah.
I mean, Last of Us figure's still some arrows broken on that now, sadly.
But there are, I think that play space is really important, and there are some games that if you just don't have a big space, you're just not going to be able to play as you want to be able to play them. So for me, it's always that I always think of Sea Smash. I can't really get into that game because my room is a bit too cluttered. I could be asked to clear it of all the furniture every time I want to play that. So I'm very conscious that I don't want to jump and leap for a shot because that's going to risk an injury as I crash into the coffee table or the light fitting.
I need like a stadium or something to stand in, so I'm just like I can move anywhere.
Yeah, that's what's
you play it in the garden with the Quest.
Yeah, play it on Quest. It's a great way to get around that problem. But so just if you can't, I mean, a lot of games where you can just play seated, which kind of removes the problem a lot. It might not be quite as immersive for you, but you can just play stuff seated, and most games are developed to play just as well.
Yeah.
Sushi Ben, for instance. Yeah, that's designed to be.
You always just to mention Sushi Ben.
I just say that, just for example, other games.
I
Puzzling
think I
Places,
mentioned it already
I
this
recommend
episode.
So which one, sorry, Jamie?
Puzzling Places I'll put up there as
Whoa,
well.
what?
Standard or seated.
What?
Yeah. Lovely experience.
What a game that is. So good.
Marsnoid's a good
Seated.
seated experience as well. Yeah, that's a good one, seated. I mean, going back to motion sickness and people that experience that, what was your way that helped you when you first started playing, Jamie? Like, what was one thing you did where you went, okay, this is the best thing that's helped me with my motion sickness? Because I know my one. I'm curious if we kind of have the same one, or if you had a better experience with something you tried.
I think for me, obviously it's gradually over time, you just get used to it. And it was a bit of just taking those breaks, like, do 15 minutes and then go off and then do 15 minutes. And also playing the games on PSVR1, they were quite common stuff like Brookhaven Experiment, where you have your classic zombie shooter and you're just standing there and you can turn 180 degrees with a button, but it's you moving and turning really for the most part. So games like that to start with, if you can find any, are really good. Like Puzzling Places is one. You're just sitting there and your eyes are getting used to that virtual environment, and that's kind of how I got used to it, really. But also a big one was putting on like a fan or something, or having maybe it come through the TV, the audio instead of headphones for the start. So you've got that like directional like point of view that where something is in the real space as well.
It makes you just feel like you're still there, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's as soon as you whack on headphones, I'm there, like I'm completely lost. But if I've got like it coming out the TV speaker, or I've got a fan on, and I'm like, okay, it's in that direction, we're good. So little things like that really helped me. There wasn't like really a major one where I was like, okay, this is the way for me. I don't think it was quite a while ago. I've been playing VR since I was like pretty young, whether that was on the Vive or even on like the Google Cardboard. So I've kind of become accustomed to having screens on my eyeballs, like I'm sure a lot of us have. But yes, there's little things like the fan trick and the TV and playing those experiences where you're not going to be jumping into like a roller coaster for your first thing or anything like that, where it's going to make you feel like your organs are turned upside down.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people try the roller coaster ones as their first game, so it's not a good idea. I'd say the fan thing was probably the one thing that made me go, okay, this is the best way forward. It kind of helped me have that extra little bit of push as well. Like if I started feeling a little bit sick, it felt like the time was getting longer each time when I had the fan on. But I do agree with you, games where you're actually situated in one position, you're turning around in real life, things like Beat Saber.
Yeah, Beat Saber's a great one.
You mentioned Brookhaven Experiment. I'd rather try and forget that experience, but that was one you did mention. Which yes. Anyways, anything like that where you're standing still. There was actually one I was playing on PC the other day that was like that. I was like, this is so old school VR. This is great.
It really is, isn't it? You don't see them anymore, do you? They sort of like
not as much. No,
I think just make use of those comfort settings as well.
Yes.
Like just really investigate those and play around with them, and don't get cocky, because I will now. I'll switch them all off. I just want smooth turning, just move around. I don't want to teleport. But then if I start to feel sick, I think, no, damn it, I should have just left the thing on. The devs are trying to help me, but I'm like, no, I can do this. I don't need this.
Turn that vignette off.
But the vignette thing is that is a real
vignette.
The vignette. That is a real. Like when I first started playing it, and that as a newcomer, I was a bit like, "What the fuck?
Why is this?
Why is all the vision closing in? That's really annoying effect."
I've always hated that from the start.
I
don't feel like it's ever.
Yeah.
Never been a benefit for me. I've always thought it's something that doesn't help. It's actually something that makes me feel sick when it happens. So even to this day, if it's like a very deep vignette, I'm like, oh god, that is not nice.
The worst one is Gorn on PSVR2. Is like you get a vision like this big in front of you, and that is it. It's horrendous. I don't know if they fixed
staring
it.
for a toilet roll.
It is, and I'm the same. I've never felt that it's really helped at all. I did start with teleport movement for like a couple of days, but I've always just tried to firm it with smooth movement. Not because it's like, I'm gonna play it how it's meant to be played or whatever, but I just quite like that style of gameplay. And it did make feeling sick, come a lot quicker in certain games like Skyrim VR on PSVR1. But I think it does pay off. Yes,
oh
my
god,
the
one
controls.
That used to make me feel very sick. That was the first time I think I really got really bad motion sickness was in that. It was when I climbed up the mountain and saw the sky, and then I looked down, I was like, oh god, that doesn't feel good. It was just something that, no matter what, it always brought on just sickness. So I am going to jump back into that at some point now that I have very strong VR legs.
Yeah, so Dami, what's your favourite VR game you've ever played?
Oh, honestly, it changes like the seasons, man, to be honest. But at the moment, I'm loving racing games. So Gran Turismo 7 is just fantastic
yeah.
on PSVR2. It's a very like common and popular pick, but that's definitely up there. I put my game of the year
You've got the
last
whole,
year.
you've got
Yeah,
the whole rig set up.
I got a rig in the corner. Yeah, so I'm on that quite frequently. It's just gives you so much content. But Resident Evil 4 last year was my VR game of the year because I was hot off the back of playing that, and that just blew me away. But those are like the two main PSVR2 ones that come to mind when people ask me that. And then I'd say throughout all the platforms, Blade and Sorcery is such a versatile game as well. That's got to be up there. You can do anything with that. And there's just so many. And then
I don't feel good about doing some of the
no,
things.
you don't. You never do you? If somebody walks in and like sees your monitor, you're like, I can explain.
Sean feels good about doing some of the things.
You could not explain the situations in that game. I tell you, sometimes it's like, yeah, just walk back out. I'll turn it off, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, and then on PSVR, the original headset, my most played was probably Beat Saber. Just it worked wonderfully on that piece of hardware, and the move controllers felt like you had the sabers in your hands. So it changes, but at the moment GT7 is probably the one, because of getting into cars a lot more and motorsport, and having a sim rig is like, it takes it to another level.
It's very cool.
And it's the kind of game that keeps on giving as well.
Yeah,
There's so many updates and so much more and content to it.
It's crazy.
I refuse to play it until I have a rig. Like, that's why I haven't played it. I'm not playing it until I have a rig.
It's a fantastic experience. I'd recommend that to anybody, like even non-racing fans. I put some people on it who don't really like racing games at all, aren't into cars, and it just blows them away. Like, Polyphony are just wizards in what they do. And I think if one thing is going to push me over to get PS5 Pro, if it ends up having like non-reprojected versions of some of the PSVR2 games, it's going to be GT7 probably. It's going to be the one where I'm like, okay, playing that at 90 or 120 unreprojected would be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's been a few people who've come around and want to try out VR, and I've given them that game, and impressively, they've not felt motion sick. I think some people, so if you are a newcomer and you think, I don't want to people get sick playing this game, so I won't play it. Give it a go. If you can't play it straight away, just leave it for a bit, play some other games, come back to it once you're a bit more experienced. But you never know. You might be with people that just will be able to play it first off, and it is like I could never imagine playing a racing game now not in VR. It just feels so much slower.
Yeah, and like even I do play a fair bit of like the Formula One games and a bit of like Assetto Corsa, and those games are fantastic. And Formula One, those official games do have VR modes on PC, but the VR modes on that, in terms of visual like clarity and quality, they don't come near GT7 really. And it's just the simplicity of it on PS5 is just you plug it in and you press your pedal and you go and you're sorted. There's no hassle.
No, there's nothing quite like that moment knowing that, because the very first time you ever tried this in PSVR2 and you're like, what's going on here? Like, why is it not in VR? Have I missed a setting? And then you hit that countdown and then it's like 3, and then you get to that one and you're like, whoa, here we go.
That was the first PSVR2 game I played, I think, because I was waiting for my Horizon Call the Mountain to download, and I was like, well, my controller's on charge for GT7, and it nuts.
Yeah, because it uses the dual sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I love the fact you can just pause it and just turn off the headset and play it on the TV.
Yeah.
So you can go from like headset to TV to Portal, and just within seconds. It's just like mad the way.
And the loading times are nothing. Absolutely, like they're instant. It's ridiculous. It's one of the most impressive like new gen games for flat and VR, and the fact that you can just take off your headset and race in the flat if you'd like to. It's crazy. We need to see more of that.
Yeah. So wow. Okay. PSVR 2, long may it continue, and I just can't wait to see now if anything changes off the back of it. If we start to, if Sony, they've got such a great momentum now, like capture this energy and do something with it for Christ's sake, then just put it back up to the full price and then forget to neglect it.
We are doing something with it. They're releasing the PC adapter.
Well, okay. Well, let's move on to the news then, and that can be yes, they've finally put out some more information about this PC adapter. So, I don't have a PC to play VR because this doesn't really mean much to me. But please, guys, tell me about this new adapter thingy. What's it going to do to transform your lives?
It's going to make PSVR 2 my main PSVR headset probably.
I hope that's going to be the case.
Yeah. As long as it works all right. I've ordered we'll get on to, obviously there's a couple of like not glaring issues,
couple
but
of things you might have to order.
Yes, and
extra
I have just
additions.
ordered. Yeah, like there's no Bluetooth built into the adapter, so you're gonna have to get, if your motherboard on your PC doesn't have Bluetooth built in, and even if it does, it might not work perfectly. You might need an adapter for that, another adapter for the adapter.
I tell you what, if I have to buy an adapter, even though I have Bluetooth on my PC, I'm just gonna be like, nah, I'm returning the adapter. Like I am not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
So what
At least it's only like £12
for the controllers.
Controller.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
the sense controllers.
Principles.
Yeah.
Principles, mate.
Yeah. So
You don't have any principles, don't you?
Yeah, you're
Yes.
right. I was thinking about buying a Pico the other day. You're right. I don't have any principles.
But yeah, I mean, if your PC doesn't have Bluetooth, how else would you get your?
Yeah,
you
so
just buy a
see,
Pico,
yeah,
a Bluetooth adapter.
Yeah, so they're not too
But I mean-
expensive.
but I mean-
Yeah.
But you're saying like, what would you expect? Like, surely that was obvious. You always knew that
Yeah,
would be the case.
I
How else
think,
would you have ever been able to connect the controllers?
I think some of us were hoping the actual
Yeah.
adapter for the the PlayStation PC adapter was. Some of us were hoping
Yeah,
that,
so
that
this
would
thing-
have a built-in Bluetooth thing.
Yeah, this thing, the
Ah.
DPVR ones, I think the headset or the little breakout box has the necessary thing for your controllers to connect and kind of transfer,
Yeah.
you know, the necessary information. But yeah, the PSVR2 one doesn't, and to be honest, like, that's not really a huge thing for me at least,
It's
because
not.
but it's annoying, isn't it? Same as there's no DisplayPort
Yeah.
cable that you need to plug into your adapter. It doesn't come with one, and again, it's easier for Sony because it's another step on their production pipeline that they don't need to do. They don't need to pack a cable in there because you buy it yourself. But it's another thing on top of the price. You know, you got the £70 or £60 adapter, and then your £10 for like, I think their recommended one is the TP-Link Bluetooth adapter. That's another tenner on top of that, and then DisplayPort cable, another maybe tenner on top of that for a good like certified one, and then you're up to like almost £100 at this point, which is it's a fair bit of money.
Yeah, but PC
yeah,
owners,
I
that's
think I
£100. It's
calculated-
nothing. You spend
Yeah,
thousands of
that's
graphic
true.
cards every
I
week.
mean, but yeah, I mean, I think I calculated if you have to add anything, it's around about £70-75.
Yeah.
You know, for the UK people, which
It's not too bad, to be honest. If you've got a headset,
no, it's like
and
an extra £25 edition.
yeah, and to access all of Steam VR and all the mods that come with that, and then you know you can run other games through Steam VR, be able to play that on your PSVR2. It is worth it for sure, but I can see why
Yeah.
some people would be put off
I-
by that. For me,
I
it's not a
think-
big deal, but
No, I think the people that I've seen complain more about it, about the PC adapter side of it and having to buy these extra things, are actually the people that already have a PC VR headset that
Yeah.
kind of runs great for them already, and they're like, well, I want to try my PSVR2, but now I'm spend this amount of money with something that may not even be that close to what I'm already getting on my Quest, or you know, but you've got the DPVR. You know, it's just, you know, it's one of them things where you might get a similar experience,
Yeah.
but you're also dropping another 60, 70 odd quid to get that similar experience. I feel like the people that I have seen complain a lot are the ones that already play PC VR.
yeah,
you know,
because they've
daily.
got those standards, haven't they? Like of what they've already played.
Yeah.
and for me, it's like
PC players, yes, they do tend to, and they let you know about it as well.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, yeah. After playing PC VR and you see the graphics on PC VR, and you know, you get so many people
Here
that go,
he
yeah,
goes.
but no, but you do. You get so many people that go, oh, it looks amazing on PS5, and you're like, because we've got the foveated rendering. But when you've got a graphics card that's running that
Yeah.
rendering so well,
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's one of the things you can live without, and that's what I've been trying to sort of stay. So people that do have a PC that's going to run, you know, their PSVR 2. They're going to have a great time with it, even
Exactly.
without the foveated rendering. They're going to get that same experience for these games that potentially will never come over to PlayStation 5 on its own system, because sadly some devs just don't want to port them over because they do know that sometimes they won't get the sales that they want from it, or they just don't want to have the extra hassle of having to port it over.
yeah, I
So,
mean, yeah,
it's
And I
No.
think Sony's back end, there's some devs have told us is not the most friendly for
yeah,
the
it's
yeah, the
porting
QA
across
process
the
is
you've
US.
got that
brutal,
Unity,
yeah.
yeah, you got that Unity thing as well with the licensing that's meant to be coming in soon as well, where they've got to pay even more money for, you know, to go on to PlayStation. So it's
there's a lot of
now gonna
hurdles.
end up being
Yeah.
more, it's going to be more difficult. So
So that's their PC adapter, and that's coming out on the 7th of August. So by the time this episode is out, you'll be able to, I think you'll be able to buy it the next day. So yeah, probably on the next episode we'll have your thoughts, 'cause I presume you guys are going to be getting one. So we'll.
Hopefully, if we can.
yeah, I'll pick it
Yeah.
up on the day.
That's the dilemma right now, isn't
If you
it?
can.
It's, you don't know where, don't know when. Well, we know when, but like countries like people,
Well, we
a couple of
think we
people in
know
Poland have
when.
got them, but yeah, we've got nothing, nothing in the UK yet, do we? So who knows?
Yeah.
And,
It will all be all
If
right.
I can
in the
order it
end.
a day before, then yeah, day one. But if I
Yeah.
can't, I'll have to find out what shop's going to stock it and then run to there after work or something. But
Yeah.
That'd be
In a
hilarious
perfect
if they
world,
release
we'll
it, but they
have
don't
our faults.
actually sell it anywhere.
Yeah, in a perfect world, it'll be
you
tomorrow.
can't have it.
Yeah, we made it, but it's nobody in the UK.
It's not for you.
Yeah, so, well, exciting times. We've got a whole load of new headset owners out there, a whole new library of games, basically, that people are going to be able to, a whole new, pretty massive use case they're going to have the headset for now. So, yeah, hopefully Sony are going to start showing us some new games that they're making for it. I remain convinced that next year there'll be an Astrobot port of the Rescue mission.
I hope.
This year's all about Astrobot on PS5. I think next year they'll want to keep the Astrobot train
I love
going.
it how Alex is just like, nah, like he's given up hope for Astrobot now. He's lost all
It will,
hope with
'cause the
Astrobot
Astrobot-
VR.
This
That
Astrobot game
game's
is going to
gone.
be like the people are talking about. It's going to be like game of the year. They're going to want to. It's going to be huge, and surely they're just going to want to keep the game going and keep the momentum going for that because they've got a franchise that can really make a load of money out of
I
that
think
franchise.
what's going to happen is Max Master's going to come out and they're going to go, holy shit, that did amazing. Okay, we need to go back on our faults here. And
Let's hope so.
Astrobot.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Well, hopefully, exciting times ahead as we move into year 3 soon of PSVR.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
2.5. We're not.
Yeah,
we're not
we're
there
still
yet.
not getting
Not
that,
just
but,
there, but
yeah, but that'll be
Yeah,
it doesn't
wild.
feel like it's a nearly 3-year-old headset though, does it? Like it still feels pretty new, like every time.
No, well,
It's not. It's
18,
only nearly
Like
18
a year and a bit.
Yeah,
18 months ish.
Okay,
yeah,
a year and a
It's
bit.
still a while, but
Okay,
yeah.
Laurie's just threw me off.
18 months. I said we're approaching the second year. Right? It was just the months ahead. It's I think people forget that it is still quite new in it and stuff. And I remember when we had Miles on, he was saying that there's going to be a good kind of 5 to 10 year roadmap for this, probably spanning the PS6 as well because it's such a future-proofed, capable headset. So just because there's no
Definitely future-proof now. It's
huge
going to
games
PC as well.
coming out in the first year or 2 years, then just give them time. The PS5 itself was slow to start, really. So, yeah.
Still in the middle.
Mm-hmm. In terms of other news we've had this week, there's quite an exciting new trailer dropped for Alien Rogue Incursion, showing a bit more of the gameplay in action. New female protagonist, Zula Hendricks, great name, was revealed as the main protagonist in it, and she's a character that's previously been in some of the novels and stuff that people have done and things. So she's a character that mega hardcore fans of the Alien franchise may be familiar with. But she's a colonial marine turned xenomorph hunter, which is quite cool. Quite a high risk job there, but so it's looking good anyway. I think a lot of people are like, okay, this trailer is looking a lot better now. So
yeah, they ironed
goes
out
to
a lot
show
of like the
what
frame
one-
rate
Yeah.
stuff in there.
Definitely, yeah. I think everyone's worried, wasn't it, when they first saw the first one? I was like, oh, this looks a bit jittery. And then they showed that new trailer. I was like, yes. And then I saw a face hug and I was like, oh. Okay.
Is that going to be up there with spiders in VR?
I
spiders?
mean,
VR face
we've
huggers.
established it's anything with more than 4 legs. So, yeah, I think it's gonna hit me pretty hard. Isn't
I'm
it?
with you
How
on
many
that.
legs does a face hugger have?
I'm with you on
Yeah,
that.
it's 6, I think. Face hugger has 6 or 8
6.
legs. So, yeah, it's gonna.
Okay.
I jumped when there was on that other Alien game that came out, the one that was on flat. What's it called? Isolation.
Oh, Isolation, yeah.
shit myself. Yeah, that was heavy. So yeah, I
Can't wait for the
Mhm.
VR
Bit
version
worried
of
if I
that.
can tolerate this one.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad because I hate it when people see trailers and stuff and people are like, oh god, it looks. Cause, like to me these trailers, I don't ever at all. Can't even tell frame rates. So I just assume it's my internet being shit and not
I
letting
thought it was
videos
the stream,
pass
the first one,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
just
yeah.
always just assume it's the quality of the stream and stuff. Or if it's a game in development, like who cares?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's all stuff that can be improved. So I hate it when people just like shit on games. Like, oh god, that looks so trash. It's like, what are you kidding? It looks amazing. So I'm glad there's a bit more positivity about it now, anyway, because it must be really shit for the devs when they put out a
I'm
trailer and people just
extremely hyped.
slag it off. So yeah, it's great. It's another big high profile release that's coming with a big known IP franchise that's gonna get people's attention. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and still on
absolutely.
for holiday 2024 as well.
It's what we
So-
kind of need, isn't it? Like, the second half this year is packed with like Metro, Alien, Behemoth, so much stuff. So it's going to be busy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I can't
And
wait.
you've played Behemoth, haven't you, Jamie, as well?
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm so used to being able to
in
play,
there. I mean, people can obviously check out your YouTube channel and then get your full thoughts on
Thank
it.
you,
But
yeah,
just for those who haven't quite found that video yet, what's your thought on that? Just in
I'm used to being able to like
It's,
people saying, "Oh no, you can't, you can't say anything," but I can now. Everything's out there. Like all the gameplay that we played in that session.
Yeah.
It's in a lot of like the videos that we put out, like the footage that they gave us. I couldn't publish any of my own footage, but I don't really see. I see why, because it was an older build, but there were no problems with it really at all, and it was basically all the best bits of Saints and Sinners 1 and 2 in terms of their melee combat, refined into like Shadow of the Colossus meets Dark Souls meets Blade and Sorcery a little bit is how I would pitch it. And it visually, like, amazing frame rate, looks really sharp as like Saints and Sinners. The haptic use was great, even though there were some haptic bits missing from the build that I played. The devs clearly knew what they were talking about, because they had played loads of Blade and Sorcery. We were talking about it afterwards, and like the inspirations and everything. And taking on just massive creatures in VR is you can't really get it anywhere else for that sort of scale in flat. Definitely not. It's one to watch. Obviously, if I'd played some of the other games coming out at the end of this year, like Alien or like Metro, I might be like, look forward to that the most. But because I played Behemoth and it is a solid like game from what I've played, that's the one to watch for me anyway. It's they don't miss. Skydance do not miss.
Like, stop.
I mean, you just listing off those games. Listing off
Can't
those games
take
just
it
there.
anymore.
There's so many good games coming that are like big, chunky, what you'd consider like proper big games.
Yeah.
That people are going to be. I'm so glad that there's going to be more of an audience for these games.
It's the perfect time for people to be getting onto the ecosystem when so much is coming in the second half of the year. They've got all this backlog to play with all the AAA games, GT7, Resi, Horizon. And then just as they're done with that, this is when the new stuff's going to start rolling in. So it's perfect timing.
I mean, the new stuff is starting to roll in from like this week with Arcade Paradise coming to PSVR2. You've got Compound. Then now next week you've got there's stuff. We are just about to get that ball starting to roll, and then obviously we'll get the VR showcase in a couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, that's exciting.
There's a lot to come.
So much happening.
That was another bit of news this week, is that Compound has a new release date now of August the 13th. So, yeah, next week, as people are hearing this episode. I'm not allowed to talk about that, am I? Yeah, Reese?
No,
we're not
you're
talking about that game.
Neither am I. Nothing.
Yeah.
It exists.
No, we can't say anything as of yet. It exists.
Yeah.
We may
Can I
or
talk
may
about
not
the Quest
have.
version that I haven't played? But...
To be fair, the dev was actually having a joke about that. But no, at the moment we can't say anything about it.
Nah, it's
but
all right. We'll talk about it
we'll have
next
our
week,
full
that's fine.
thoughts on that next week.
Yeah. Okay. So, but I mean that's good though. And as well, Arcade Paradise. I'm not allowed to talk about that either yet, because I think I'll go for that. It's after this episode.
It is, yeah.
Oh man! Well, next week, guys,
You
you're gonna
played all these games. You can't talk about them. What's the point?
Next week we can have a thumbnail of someone in a laundrette and Compound. Try and merge that together in a thumbnail, please. But
You
yeah,
want a laundrette in a thumbnail.
you can. Yeah, we work it out.
But yeah, you didn't want my original ideas for this week's thumbnail. Now, what a joke.
So another good couple of weeks of releases coming. So yeah, good times.
Back to Behemoth.
Yeah.
As you can tell, that's probably one of my most hyped games for this year. Like literally, I don't
blame you.
Like,
I don't blame you.
wait.
It's
No,
hanging
don't
with
wait.
me.
No.
Sadly, my invite to test it was actually lost in the post, which I later found out. Yeah, they sent it to the wrong address. Which
Well,
address
guys,
don't exist. Yeah.
When we get 10k YouTube followers, like some people, maybe we'll get
maybe.
invited to these things. Something to reach for, something to aspire to. Cool. I also saw a game this week that you're quite excited about. It's that Maestro one, not for PSVR2, but that's coming to Quest
I love
as
the
well.
demo.
It's got a release date in October now.
Yep. Great game. I played
Hopefully
the
it will
demo.
come to PSVR2.
I mean, I didn't try it on Quest with the controllers because literally when you start up, it says you can play it with your hands, and it recommends holding something like a stick as well to give you that full effect of being a maestro. And oh mate, I absolutely loved it. Like, one thing with rhythm games is they're usually not feeling the same because it's either slice a block or punch something, and that's not disregarding anything that's came out before. But a lot of games are doing the same thing over and over again. this is probably one of them rhythm games where I'm like, okay, this is the most unique thing I've played in VR rhythm style because it's completely different to anything before. And just that sense of feeling when you kind of like raise the orchestra to make them louder and you're doing it with your hands and you're like, it feels really cool.
That sounds
I didn't try it with any controllers, but it was just, I don't know. And it's like on the tutorial, there's a bit where it's like, it gets you to try all these different songs because on the demo, it's a tutorial and then one live event. And it gets you to try these different things with each orchestra and to introduce each thing from like the jazz section, the brass band, the singers, and all that kind of stuff, the strings. And there was a bit where it kind of you started it and it started up like this upbeat hip hop song, and I was like, this feels very odd, but at the same point, I found it very funny. But yeah, no, very unique, very fun, and I really think they've got a winner on their hands of this game just because of how great it feels on the Quest, especially having your hands to do all of this stuff. Because let's be honest, when you're actually using your whole hand to kind of raise the sound of it, it does feel better than obviously you holding a controller or something. And like I said, I didn't try it with a controller. I'm assuming there is a way because I think it's coming to Steam VR as well. So I believe there is a way for you to use the controller.
And I suppose from that perspective, it's going to be more immersive not to hold something because in that kind of experience, you'd never expect to have any sort of feedback in your hands. It would be in the reaction of the orchestra. So it makes perfect sense.
I found like a little paintbrush that I had in here, like one of them little miniature paintbrushes, and I was like, okay, I'll use that as the orchestra stick. And
you painted your lung, man.
No, I actually used it for touching in on some of the painting on the wall on the little bits. But anyways, back to the game. Yeah, so I used that as like the orchestra stick, and just I don't know, that really immersed me, and I just genuinely felt like I was actually there. And the way you start is all like you tap your stick on the board where the book is, and then like you hear it's great because the sound of it, like you hear like coughing from the orchestra just before it starts, so you hear all that. And then if you turn around, you do the orchestra, and then you turn around, the whole crowd will be there, and they'll either give you like a standing ovation and things like that. So you literally feel like this whole world is around you with how they're actually interacting with your performance.
Such a clever idea.
I didn't realise that at first because I finished the orchestra and then I heard screaming, and I was like, I turned around and then there was screaming behind me. I was like, oh, well, this is awesome.
Oh, spoilers.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that happens. Probably a spoiler, is it? It just means I was doing a great performance, But no, cannot wait for that to come out. Really cannot. So,
well, you're gonna have to. Because it comes out on October the 17th.
Ooh,
cool. All right. Well, I think we've just got enough time just to finish off, just talking about what we've been playing. Before we do, though, just remind everyone that we have a brand new shiny YouTube channel. Please do go there and hit subscribe. And I know lots of people watch this on YouTube and they're not subscribers. Can you believe it, Jammy? I mean, Jammy can't. Wouldn't even know what that's like.
Horrendous thing.
Subscribe now. Subscribe. Yes. So please click that subscribe button, and it really does help. And just leave us a comment. And if you like the show, let us know. If you don't like the show, let us know why. But be nice, please. It really helps. So thank you for everyone that's done that. And also, we've got a really good Discord as well that's been going mad. People joining that. So please check out the links. All the links to this is going to be in the episode description and all that kind of stuff. Follow us on Twitter at CrossbuttonVR. All the stuff. Jamie, what have you been playing on your PSVR2?
Oh, well,
or any other VR headset.
Well, new stuff you've been playing. We've been talking about loads of stuff already, but is there any new releases that particularly you've been?
The one we can't talk about, Compound, of course. So that is a game that exists.
Yeah, okay.
That's it. On to the
Definitely
next
exists.
One. Yeah, it exists. And in terms of like new releases, Windlands 2 has been a lot of fun. The co-op of that has been really cool. Really smooth game. I really enjoyed that. And just like fantastic soundtrack. It's a little bit more lighthearted than the first one because I played the first on PSVR 1. But I've still enjoyed it, especially in co-op. It's a load of fun to swing around with friends and shoot the bows and arrows. So on PSVR 2, that's the newest thing probably I've been going on, along with the classic GT7. And then over on Steam VR, just that I rolled back to the old version of Blade and Sorcery, back from the 1.0 release to I think it's Early Access 12, because the Star Wars mod is on Early Access 12, so I've been playing that as well, which is a load of fun. But on PSVR 2, Windlands has been one of the most recent.
So I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was off last week when these guys were talking about it, and I wasn't able to talk about it the week before when I had played it. And yeah, I've only played it in single player. I was just so impressed by it. That freedom of the feeling of movement and swinging it. It's so well done. It's Yeah, it's got that parkour sense, and it's like real. It has one of those real VR wow moments when you're just swinging from tree to tree, and it does a thing where you're just when you're in midair between swings, you just get that kind of wind effect. You can hear the sort of wind, just a sort of silence, but
it's the feeling on the headset as well.
Yeah, on the
when you're falling,
yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah, on the pre-release version,
it
that wasn't there, but I hear now it is, and it's good. It's good.
It definitely is. Yeah.
It's more just the sort of sound as the wind rushing through.
The audio
like,
design, is really good.
The sense of it's so clever, and just when you're fighting a kind of boss and you're zipping around, the combat is just amazing. When you're bouncing around and getting up high and taking shots at it, and then bouncing around, and the thing can't catch you because you're just so mobile. It's just it gives you such a VR kind of power trip. Yeah, it's just that rush of adrenaline of just being able to be so. It's kind of the sort of thing you kind of dream of, being able to just kind of almost you're basically flying almost. It's just that sensation of movement. It's fantastic.
And apparently the best thing you can do, which we didn't know when we were playing it, is if someone's hosting the game and they're actually quite good at getting around, you can then just transport to the host so that you don't need to tackle all these different bits to get up to the right places. You just let them do it. Which would have been very helpful when me and Reese were playing this initially, because I could not get to the top of one of the bits.
Yeah, I played it with Realm this week, and it was one bit where I kept climbing up and I kept falling off. So I was like, I was getting a bit tired of keep falling off, because it kept putting me back to a checkpoint near where I fell off. So instead of checkpoint me back up to the top, the checkpoint would land me back to where I fell. And it started getting a bit tedious. Didn't change I'm still really enjoying the game, but for that minute it was a bit like, oh, come on. So I kept teleporting to Realm, and then next year I was teleporting when he's attacking a boss, and I was like, all right, cool, I'll give you 5 minutes, you can get to the next spot, I'll teleport to you again. It was just me using Realm as a piggyback just to kind of get to each area. But no, then we got to the top of a mountain, and literally we both jumped off this mountain, and because of how large the drop was, we felt the haptics start quite slow and then just kind of really ramping up as we were going further down. To the point where we both got to the bottom, we was like, blimey, that was a bit much on the haptics, wasn't it? Like, you really felt it. It was crazy. So awesome. Yeah, really great addition there with the haptics. But no, Windlands 2 is a lot of fun. And like you said, attacking the bosses, when you swing to it and then you land, you pull out your bow and attack them. It just feels so cool.
Fall off the edge.
Yeah, fall off the edge multiple times and then redo it all over again.
Yeah. Yep. It's fantastic though when you do fall, the load times are instant.
Definitely.
You don't lose any progress on the boss fights as well, which is great.
No, exactly. That's always a good thing too.
Yeah,
it's very straight back. Is that the same if you play on a harder difficult?
I'm not sure. I think on normal it doesn't reset you, so you just go straight back in and you pick it up from the same. But I feel like harder you might. But again, the load times are like that, so you're completely fine to play.
Yeah, it's like playing Celeste or something, isn't it, in VR? It's just instant.
Like playing a roguelike in VR, you die, you got to start all over again.
But yeah, probably not one for one of those newcomers out there that just picked up their headset for the first time. Don't play this. Just get used to VR first, because
give it a few months maybe, or just wait until you got them VR legs. Definitely.
Yeah, so that's cool. What about you, Reese and Alex? Have you been playing this week?
I've been playing some Crossfire Sierra Squad. I jumped on it today.
Going for that platinum.
I am going for that platinum. That's why I jumped back onto it. Well, I mean, I could have asked you, but I was doing the carp levels, and last time I did carp with you on Crossfire, you didn't sound like you was enjoying yourself, so I didn't really want to put you through it again.
It's a very different game if you're playing with Alex. It's a bit more comical.
Give Alex his due. He really did help me get the trophy for the Horde mode, because literally at that point I was like, just couldn't get it. So I was like, Alex, please help me with this. And bless him, he was like, I don't feel like I'm helping. I was like, no, you're helping. You're fine. Let that person keep shooting you while
drawing the fire away.
I'm not good with guns.
I mean, by all means, if you want to join me to finish off the rest of these carp levels, but I'm up to like chapter 6 now, and I've got to admit, it's getting a bit tiresome. There is too many carp levels in Crossfire Sierra Squad to the point where it just gets boring, which is sometimes when you say, oh, it's great, it's got a lot of things in the game, you're really happy about it, but I just feel like with the carp side of stuff, they should have dialed that back a bit and made the campaign a little bit longer.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, because it's just, I think it was 120 carp levels or something like that. And
it's a lot.
They're just the same thing over again. It's like you stand in one area, shoot a ton of drones. Oh, pick up a USB stick. Good, well done. And then you do it again. And each of these are lasting like 10, 15 minutes. And you're like, I do 2 of them. I don't want to do anymore because I know it's going to be the same thing again and again. It's a great game and it's a lot of fun, but yeah, the carb levels, even when playing it with friends, like I think me and Gritty went through about half of the carb levels because we used to play every Saturday doing the Crossfire. The amount of issues we had where he would like spawn in with no gun, he wouldn't have grenades, so like I'd have to pick up stuff off the floor and throw it to him. Then he couldn't reload the guns; he'd have to drop the gun. I'd have to reload it and give it back to him because of the amount of issues there was. So we just ended up kind of like getting tired of it. Yeah, it was a real.
You do that for me. We'll play. Can you just reload my gun for me? Please?
It's like, I can't reload this. But yeah, he would spawn in with,
and again, please, Reese.
yeah, it was really odd. He had no guns on his back or his body. It's just the only thing I think
You're basically a caddy.
Yeah.
pretty much it was that. And we just got sick and tired of it because it was like it was always happening. Even after every update, this same thing was always happening. So it was like, okay, I was like, I'm gonna try and crack on with this one day, just try and get that platinum. And yeah, I thought I'd try and do that today. And yeah, I'm enjoying it still, but it's again, I just wish I did the co-op stuff first before the campaign because it's just getting incredibly boring. But I will get that platinum. It will be mine.
Fair enough. Alex, what about you?
Probably a lot of things I can't talk about again, as we've all said, but also played a bit more Infinite Inside. So I've been back playing that. I've been enjoying that. I love my puzzle games and I'm really enjoying it. I know it's quite a short game, so I've just been doing a little chapter at a time rather than kind of going through it.
I need to
it's good to pick up like a chapter at a time, isn't it? It's very well made for that. You can just play like half hour of it and then do something else.
Yeah, so I played a bit of that. We also played Request. We had a nice co-op session of Zero Caliber 2 the other night. That was fun.
Let's talk about that for a bit.
I mean, not so much, and as you say, Laurie, it's different. If you go and try and play shooter with me, it's a different game to trying to play with anybody else. But I'm like, oh, shiny, I've got a rocket launcher. This is going to be fun.
He was extremely childish. Like, Alex, be careful with that thing because you can do team damage with the rocket launchers. Even I turned off team damage for actual guns.
That's fine. But I just fired it anyway.
It was great fun.
But it was quite. I'm not usually a fan of this type of game, but there was 4 of us playing and just kind of going through the different campaign modes and co-op again, and it was fairly enjoyable.
There's a lot of silly moments. The zip lines being one of them. Like every time you dart down on one of them, it wouldn't come back up, and then literally just watching people on the zip lines was equally as funny. But no, that just came out last week, so I mean. That was extremely fun. I'm having a blast. Like, we need to jump back into it. And I was actually surprised, and this is an indicator of a good game sometimes with Alex. It's like, if he comes off the game and instantly says to you, we should play more of that tomorrow, that's how you know it's a decent VR game. Because literally, I was like, Alex is now asking me to play a shooting game the very next day. And I was like, this doesn't happen. Like, he'll play a shooting game. If he doesn't like it, he will never mention that game again. But a very big high praise. Breaches being one of them. Very big high praise there to Zero Caliber just for that alone. It's a very good game. Highly recommend people check it out.
That's like my Helldivers 2 phase. Ben was like, what is going on? Why are you keep inviting me to play online games? You don't play online games. Like,
we need to get back onto Helldivers, don't we?
So
we need to bring that back.
Big new update coming for that, isn't it, this week?
2 days time.
We need to get back on that.
Yeah. 2 days time. Oh, wow, that's okay. So,
Jamie, do you play Helldivers still? Do you want to join the Helldivers squad?
Oh yeah, Helldiver.
I think everyone played too much of it.
I had to stop.
That's the real reason why Laurie wanted the Portal, was just for Helldivers.
I did play a lot of it on the Portal. It plays really well.
And then I picked up Guardians Frontline just to see what that would be like in VR, because that's the equivalent. What people say is the equivalent to Helldivers. It is and it isn't, but yeah, it equally felt quite fun.
Right, well, probably brings us to a close. Anyone got any final thoughts, things you want to mention, games you want to play? Yeah?
All good.
No. Final game advice, buy or something? No? Okay. Well...
That's my favourite VR game.
No, you see I've been on car journeys with my kids. Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, please do tell your family, your friends all about us. And if you want to get more involved, do not hesitate to drop into our Discord, say hello. Thank you to everyone that's already done so. It's been great to see you all there. And yes, please, once again, just hit subscribe on the YouTube, please. I've been your host, Laurie. These two have been Alex and Reese. We have been joined by the great Jammy, and we will see you again next time. Until then, it's goodbye.